Hello and welcome to Whiskey Resource. My name is Mark. This is review 157. It is the 15th dram in my 18-year-old blind dram showdown. The channel has just hit its second birthday. Since I rebranded it, we're actually in the next few days going to be hitting the 4-year mark that I actually set up a YouTube review channel. A lot of the whiskey content, a lot of the content that was on the channel before I rebranded to Whiskey Resource, I removed except one video, which is the Talisker Triple Showdown review video. Onwards onto the next blind dram sample, and let's see what we get from this 18-year-old whiskey. As ever, I'm going to pour a sample and then do one with added water, and then give you my thoughts on the nose and the palate. What do we have? Cheers. This is a peated whiskey. There's the earthiness of peat as well as smoke. The smoke is, it's more of an earthy smoke than a campfire. It's not particularly medicinal. There's no TCP, no iodine coming off it. It's just an earthy wood fire, I suppose. There's fruits. The fruits are quite gentle. There's maybe honey, there's vanilla. Fruits, they are suggesting that there may well be some sherried components into the fruits. I'm getting dark fruits. Touch of berries. There's maltiness to it as well. In terms of ABV, it's not too hot. Not too hot at all. I'm actually finding it quite hard to pick up any alcohol. So it's coming across as a 40%. It's not massively aromatic. It's not a particularly volatile nose. There's not a lot jumping out, but what is coming out of the nose is quite enjoyable. It is inviting to come and take a sip. So here we go on the palate. Actually, that's a really nice one. So it's come across as 43% ABV. It's honey. It's syrup. It's got an okay oily texture to it. It's syrupy and honey sweetness. There's vanilla. There's orchard fruits amongst them, amongst the fruits, but there's also stewed fruits. As I say, there's some berries, typical maybe Christmas cake type fruits. The oak is there, providing a woody palate with bitterness as well, and spice at the back end, ginger predominantly, and cinnamon. Drying, the smoke, it is there. It's bordering campfire ash kind of a vibe. Maybe, I don't know, maybe touch cigarette ash. But the smoke isn't overwhelming. It's not a particularly strong peated smoked whiskey. It's providing enough to give the some complexity to the dram. It's quite easy sitting in this. It's enjoyable. Is it showing its age as 18? And maybe not. Maybe it's actually passing off probably closer to maybe 15-year-old. Got my thoughts as to what I think this could be. And what I'm going to say is maybe going to be a little controversial based on what I think of this so far, but we'll move on to the water and we'll see what we get off that. Before I taste that, I'm going to just do a bit of a palate cleanse with some water. So the nose, just then when I got it off the water, brought out those fruits a lot more. A lot more orchard fruits are coming through now. Combination of stewed apples and pears, some berries, more vanilla, caramel now is appearing, chocolate, milk chocolate. There is a little element of creaminess there, which does add to that chocolate. The nose with water is more vibrant. It's more live, nicer with water than without. That is, I think, given time without water, the nose will open up like this, but the water has just helped it along. Can't really tell much about the colour. On the palate, that's enjoyable. That is enjoyable. I think this is an Islay. Bit of an advantage here, given that I do know what was put in the box. Whilst I can't remember everything in there, I do know which ones are peated. Okay, I forgot about the Loch Lomond, and I didn't actually realise that the Loch Lomond was as peated as it came across. But I think this is the Bowmore. I know Jura's in the box. I don't know whether Jura is, that particular expression has peat or smoke. But I'm not getting a Jura vibe. I'm getting more of an Islay quality to this than maybe what you would get in a Jura. So I'm saying this is Bowmore. In terms of would I buy a bottle of this? Now, I'm going to say no, I wouldn't buy a bottle of this, the Bowmore. It's enjoyable. It does retail at around £90. I will do a check if I'm right once I do the reveal. But we'll come on to the bottle thing in a minute. Should we just do the reveal? It is a nice dram. Where does it come in the lead cable? Well, that's an interesting one, because this is the 15th. There were 14 whiskies in the lineup. I'd say this goes 8th. I think I prefer it to the Talisker 18. I also prefer it to the Johnny Walker 18, which was a nice dram. It's not mind-blowing enough to deserve sitting higher up the table. It is a very good, competent, fruity Islay. Whilst it's not heavily peated or smoked, it's got enough about it, and I think with time it would improve. But based off what I've just tried there, yeah, I think it's going to go in 8th place, and I think this is Bowmore 18. It's just the smoke on it. It just makes us think it is the Bowmore. Okay, so it's a blank one, which means I've done the label myself. The colour, that looks a bit too orange, doesn't it? That looks like colour has been added to that. And we have Bowmore. So I was right. So I'm going to put on pause whilst I get the bottles. So the Bowmore 18, the sample I've just tried there came from this miniature of the 18-year-old that my wife bought me. It's bottled at 43% ABV. It is a Diageo-owned distillery. And what do they say about it? On the eye, it's mellow mahogany. Breathe in classic Bowmore smokiness. Perfectly tempered with creamy caramel, chocolate and ripe fruit aromas. Sip beautiful soft fruit and chocolate, balanced with light smokiness. Incredibly complex savour, the long and wonderfully balanced finish. So that is the bottle, and I've just decanted 30ml of it into my sample bottle here. However, would I buy a bottle? Well, let's just do a price lookup. So the Bowmore 18 retails on Masters of Malt for £89.99. It is slightly higher than some of the whiskies above it. So it's more expensive than some of the whiskies which feature higher in the league table. at $89.99. It's cheaper than the Glendronach, however, but the Glendronach is a tastier dram. What about Stubbs Malt say? It's a comparatively recent release from Bowmore. The 18-year-old was launched in January of 2007 to replace the 17-year-old, a perfumed, fruity offering from the Islay distillery. Nose pungent citrus, chewing fruits, hint of damp wood and very soft smoke. Not sure about pungent, but certainly I agree with those nose notes. Palate, spirity at first, then gives way to perfume, fruit, plum jam, a good sweetness and peaty smoke, grapey. Maybe some of that. Finish, Seville marmalade, blossom, dark peat. Dark peat? Is there other shades of peat? Anyway, $89.99. I wouldn't buy a bottle of that. It is 43% ABV. I suspect it is coloured, and it will undoubtedly be chill filled at being a Diageo bottle. However, I say I wouldn't buy a bottle. I have a bottle, and I've had this bottle for a couple of years. I've not opened it, not yet. And you can see there the bottle of the 18-year-old Bowmore, unopened. This was on clearance, and I paid what is considered to be an outstanding price for it, given it's an 18-year-old whiskey. I paid £38 for this from Costco when it was on clearance. They will stop stopping it, and this was the last bottle on the shelf that I managed to grab at that incredible price. I just have left it simply because I wanted to be working my way through younger whiskies. I wanted to get a feel for whiskey. I wanted to understand it more. I think opening a bottle such as that, when I bought it, it would have sat unappreciated. It wouldn't have been drank as often. I would have gone for younger, juicier whiskies, which is still probably the case. However, I've tried enough whiskey now to do what I'm doing with this 18-year-old showdown, and it's proven to be a bit of an eye-opener. So no, I wouldn't buy another bottle of this. I don't know when that bottle will get opened. Obviously I've got the rest of this miniature to finish. Off what I've just tried in this review, I'm still not in a hurry to open it. That's it. That's kind of honest opinion on that. It's okay. It's not mind blowing. It's perfectly drinkable. I just want to see on the back of this box that it says in German that it does have caramel colour. If that's German. Mit Farbost Farben. I'm not going to say because I'm spoiling the language. There it is.